Hello future tech leaders, I am Sindhuja. Based on my own experience, I know that learning the right skills can shape our future. What if I say learning was as thrilled as the tech world itself? There we go. A cloud foundation, that's exactly what you will experience. From day one, you will be immersed in the interactive sessions and expert-led courses that covers most of the widely used technologies in the zone of data science to cloud computing, which brings more light to the life of a techie. I'm so excited to help you and unlock the true potential of a technology. Well, then why to wait? Let's see what it unfolds.
Today is going to be officially the last session that we will have. There are a few things that need to be discussed. Some examples about SSJs. I also wanted to show we have covered the CKM script and also the AMM script that we can use in a cloud page. But I wanted to show one more example. For MP script using in the email template. I want to bring up an example because this is something that we quite frequently use. It in most of the organization almost in the same format. I would like to create one email. That email will do the translation for all the countries. How do we create that? Using a data extension is something that we're going to see. Then we will discuss about the use cases of SSJs. We will also discuss about an example that we were talking about based on the code which is shared by the miner. We'll just have 3 topics. We don't need the full time today. I'll start with the first example that I would like to bring on the AMP script. Using an AMP script, we are going to do the translation for all the countries now. First, I'll just quickly open the email template. There are certain prerequisites that we have to do it. We have to prepare the email template first and content first. That's when we can be able to implement the AMP script and then we can do the personalization. For that, we need to create a data extension. We are going to create a data extension to store content of an email template. Subject line pre-header, header C, tier button. All of this information, we will have it for each and every country separately. All of this information we are going to store in a data extension. From a data extension, we are going to create a data extension. We are going to bring the data into a data extension. Bring the data into an email template. That's a whole procedure and process that we are going to follow now. Before that, let's open an email template. I have them here. This is an email that we have used in the previous session. I will use the same email template. We have an AMP script LED with a use case that we have already discussed on it. What I will do is I will just quickly play up this email template. I will make this little bit more simple. I will make this little bit clean. There are 2 C tier buttons. I will remove one of the C tier buttons. This is something that I will also remove. Here, finally, we have this unsubscription button. I will write it in English. This is in our language. Here, what we need is if you would like to unsubscribe. Please link this link to this link. Please link this link. From our marketing communications, please unsubscribe something like this. Or you/unsub something like that. That's the kind of text that I have for unsubscription. This is my CTA button. I'm not going to consider this HTML form. And this is my body. This is also my body content. And this is our image. And here on top I have the subject link to get the header. The one thing that we have to do is before we create a data extension, we need to look at an email. How we have a content in the email. Firstly, we have a subject line pre-header and we have a photo. This 3 of this field is something that we are going to keep it in the data extension for sure because all of the email will have this information. A subject line, the header, and unsubscription button footer. And then if I look at the email, here I have an image. This is fine. This image usually we like the same for all the countries. If you need to have a different image, that is also something possible here. And next thing, we have a body content. This is my, let's say this is my body 1. This is a body 2. This is a 2 content and this is a body 3. But this is a HTML form. This is an HTML form which I have created. We are going to any personalization. We have to move this because this is a form that we have created. Body 1 body to see the button. And we have the unsubscription button. We were talking about body 1, body 2 and then see the button. Based on your email structure, we have to create a data extension. That's our whole purpose. We are not looking at this email. And then we created an extension based on the email structure that we have. Suppose if you have a more content here, and we will have to create a feed setup. We have to create a data extension like a body 3, body 4. I tell you image 1, title image, to see the button. If you have a multiple city importance, this has to be city but in one. And you have to create one more fields in the data extension saying like a data. City button 2. Based on the fields we have it. Based on the email structure, we have created an extension. Now let's create a data extension. As the data is already created, there is anything else before that. It's a content. Perfect. This is a data extension we are creating to store the content of the email. We don't need this to be a sendable data extension. It can be like this, and we are not going to give this data retention policy here in the field. What is the personalization that we are trying to bring here? It can be anything. It can be, the personalization can be based on the preference. It can be based on the country. Now let's see an example for personalizing the content based on a country. Suppose if I'm sending an email to Indian customers, I will translate and to the local Indian regional language and then send out the email. If I'm sending an email to Germany, it will be a German language. If I'm sending it to a foreign country, I will send it to a local country. I will send it to a local country. Email to France. Customer will be a French language. My content will change accordingly based on my customer country they are from. That's what we are trying to achieve here. If you want to do a personalization based on their gender, like a male or female, that is also something possible. It's the same concept we have to follow. But what is the personalization that you're trying to achieve? Now let's see the sendable data extension first. We need to figure out which is the field in a data extension that we have. It's a common example. Let's see the sendable data extension first. Let's say that we are going to use this data extension for sending. Let's say that we are going to use this data extension for sending. Let's open this. In this data extension, here we will see what all fields that we have in the sendable data extension. Let's grab a key first and last name. Here we have a country. Based on country, we have a date of birth, email, phone number, purchase, and all of them. If I am doing personalization based on gender, I can do it. But I need to create a content data extension based on this country field. Based on this country field, if I go to records in the country, I can see India, France, Germany, Spain, and Russia. And then I can see the country. I can see India, France, Germany, Spain, and Russia. Now let's go to a data extension where we are creating. Here, whichever the personalization that you're trying to achieve, it has to be this field here. Now, what are we trying to achieve is like a based on country. I'll take this. This is going to be my primary key in this content data extension. Suppose if I'm trying to do a personalization based on a gender, my gender has to be the primary key here. And if I here, that has to be my primary key. If I do a personalization like based on any other fields that I have in this email, like a preference, like a language preference, anything like. If you would like to achieve a personalization based on any fields in this enabled data extension, then I can do this. I can create a personalization based on any fields in this enabled. Data extension has to be a primary key in your content data extension as well. Perfect. This is one part which is really important. We have to make sure that we keep this primary key for content data extension. Next, then we will have to start adding the fields in the content data extension. First, the subject line and pre-header. Let's say a subject pre-header. Here after this, in case if you would like to come up with a different URL for each and every country. Here there's also something possible. Here we can also directly simply add the URL field here and then create a data extension. We create a field and then we'll go with body 1, body 2. Body. This is a body too. And here we have a CTA button. We will create a field for CTA button. And we also going to be storing a link for it. CT. In case if you have a multiple CTA button in your email template, you can say like CTA button 1, CTA link 1, CTA button 2 and CTA link 2. We just have to create a mode of fields. This is in this content data extension. Once we do that, here is where we have this. And we don't need to do any personalization, but in case if you would like to do a translation for Facebook, that's really something you can do, repair and all of them. That's also something that we can remove, and we then create a new alternative for testing data in the container. Finally, we have this unsubscription button. I can say as an answer, all of this is going to be fixed for sure. This is a fixed subject line. If I keep 50, that means I can enter only a maximum of 50 characters. I'm going to keep it as a 500. We are going to save aside. This will be your need. That's it. We have to create a data extension based on the email structure that you have. Based on the email structure that you have. All. If you have more content here in your email template, your content data extension has to be with more content. Like with a more field, it basically depends on what is the kind of email structure that you have and how do we have them in a content data extension. Let's click on Create. Now this content data extension is created. This is going to be my responsibility here. And Bill, here is my responsibility. And after this, it's not going to be my responsibility to create a content data extension. All now let me, I think, like Akhil asked something. Perfect. This content data extension is now that is being created. The next part is going to be content creation for multiple countries. Now, how do we do the translation for all the countries? This is how the email will be usually. We have a subject and all of this, it may be email template already. And we have to do the translation for all the countries. Most of the organization, it's not going to be your responsibility. We don't usually do the translation. We will have a dedicated team to take care of the content. It's all of my experience in my in CIS Salesforce Marketing Club. I never used to create a content all by myself. Like do the translation for all the countries. There are some situations. And there are some tools which an organization will give you training. And based on the training, you can do the translation and then put it into a content data extension. Now our responsibility is to create the email template. This is our responsibility. It will be in English translation first. Second, our responsibility is to create this content data extension. Third, our responsibility is to do this segmentation. All this is our responsibility. And what we are going to, like the content translation, this will not be your responsibility. But if you have to do a translation by yourself, then an organization will give you training. There are some tools which we have in the market. It's called SmartLink. I'm not sure like if you've heard of it before. this tool's smart link. Smart link. Smart link. Smart link. Content. This is the one. Smart linking. It's called smart link. This is a tool we use. Some of the organizations use this tool. And there are many companies that they have a different tool. Smart link. It's called smart link. Basically, like what it does is we just have to give the English translation. And this will have a capability of reading the translation for all other countries. We have to be really like a sensitive in the content part because in Dutch or like in a French language, if you write and if you make a small mistake like a comma, like if you put up, if we misplace the comma, and it makes a lot sense. The customer, it may be probably like a meaning of bad board or something like that. There are some countries which has a very sensitive keywords. We have to really like read the content. Keeping that in mind of all the and free translations. We use some tools like this. This is a paid tool. Your organization may have some content developers to work on this, or you may be getting a training to do the translation. This is a two possible way. Let's say that it is your responsibility to do the translation. And we have to do this translation in the smart link. And they will give you an access for it. They will give you access to the paid license. We have taken from these tools. And the next procedure. And how do we do this translation now? Since we don't have a premium account to this, I'm going to show you a manual step using the Google Translator. We are going to store the content. We are going to store a content, and I mean basically we are going to translate in the Google. And then we'll keep the translated content and data extension. This is again not going to be your responsibility. And we don't, like you usually do it in this way, like in SmartLink. In SmartLink, what we all have to do is read in the English translation. And SmartLink will do the translation for all the countries, whichever that you would like to pick up. You just have to say like Germany, Austria. You can just pick up whichever the country that you would like to translate. SmartLink will give you a Excel sheet that will have all of this translation. And then we just simply have to upload them into this data extension. Oh, we will have to manually inject them through a data extension. Now let's go to a content data extension. Contact builder. And then we will inject it manually. We have this in the data extension. Contact builder. Hey guys, F4. all of this. This is the data extension. Let's do records. Here we have to manually inject the records. Now let's do the installation for 2 countries because it's going to be same for all other countries. This is a manual way, and if you do it from a tool, you don't need to add records one by one for all the countries, and then we don't need to do it. If we are doing it from a tool like we discussed the tool called Smart Linking. When you use that tool give you Excel sheet for all the countries, and I just have to import them directly. That will be a very simple way since we don't have access to that tool or a premium account. We are going to do it manually now. First thing, we have a subject line. I'll remove this LDAM script condition that I have. I'll remove this part. And there is an AM script which we have here also. I'll remove this also. Now it will be like this. Now let's do the manual translation for all the countries. First one, let's make this one for. Let's do the translation for Germany first. Here this is a subject line for Germany. We will have to do it manually here. We have to say Germany here and subject has to be this. And the next one is for Vienna. If I do it from a tool called Smart Link, I don't need to do this manual process. I just have to give all the English translation in the tool. The tool will create the Excel sheet for all the countries. Let's say, for example, I want to do it for the countries. I will just say Germany, France, Spain, Italy, Russia. All of these countries, it will automatically create and it will give you CSV file. And we just have to input it directly here. We don't need to do this manual step. Perfect. Now let's do it for the header. We'll get this content. Let's put it here. Now body 1. This is going to be my body 1. Let's do it only for 2 countries because it's going to be same for all the countries. Exactly. Same procedure, body 1 and body 2. For body 2, we can take a translation here because this is the post realization which will bring from the sendable direct extension. We don't need to do any translation here for this percentage or not. Let's put that here. And this thing will go here as a body and see the button we have. Click here too. This is going to be our body 1 and this is my CDA button. And CDA, it can be anything. You can see here. You see here, but it's some CDA button. We may have it. Unsubscription button also. We have some text here for unsubscription. Click here. The link is going to be same for all the countries. It's going to be like the same. Only the data. We can see it. Let me click here. Let's change that. I can see here the ID list. Here it is here. First, you need to change. Give all of this English translation and that tool will create the translation for all the countries. And then we will just have to import that into a data extension. Whenever we create that content for English, we will also be able to name the fields like our country, subject line pre, header 1, body 2G. Same way, we will also be able to keep that fields in the tool Smart Link tool. There we give this field, and then it will output also the Excel sheet which will be generated from a tool. It will have all the same fields. Now let's do one more translation for this different country and then we'll close it up. Let's do it for India. I'm kind of comfortable with Tamil. Let's do it for India probably. I just keep the Tamil translation for unsubscription button. I'll take this. Let's do this translation for India. This is unsubscription text. I'll put it here for unsubscription text here. And then this is my subject line. Subtitle be handles. Next is a body 1. Body 1 is this to web message is a body 1. Data extension support for UDF8. Yes, it does support. I mean, usually the files which are generated from the tools like a SmartLink or other tool will be a UDF8 format. We'll be able to just input them that data extension. This is the translation of the body tool. Also the translation. And CD button. This is the translation of the body tool. And now the C, D, L link may be same here for all the countries. And if you have a different CD button for all the countries separately, we can also do that. Like, sometimes it will be like a CloudFoundation and something like that. If it's for Germany, it will be like a Instacom. It will be a seat/CD button. It may be different. Based on that, we can just keep the CD button for each and every country. I think pretty much we know like how we can store this content, how we can create this data extension. Content data extension. It's the same procedure. We have to do it for 10 countries or 100 countries or 50 countries, whichever that we are trying to achieve. That's why it's a very manual process. We never trust Google. Please never do any translation just for use case that I have. I showed this example using a Google Translator, but never use a Google Translator because it never does the translation properly. This is only for like an informal way of communication. For formal way of communications, we have to use the tools that we have in the market. One of the best tools that we have now is a SmartLink. We have to give the English content. It will give the translation with the CSV file and then we just directly import them. It is a number of countries that we are doing. We just have to pick up the localization for all the countries that we have already translation. That will take. The tool will take care of it. Now, just for the use case, I have done this translation. Now we have this content. Now let's go back to our email template where we have to write an AMP script to bring the data into our email template. First thing, we will usually write the AMP script in the header. That's also something that we have to be also always be careful. And that's kind of the best practice that we do it. If I write like this piece of script, like in the bottom of my email template, it may not work because usually this AMP script condition will run. And from a top to bottom. Now let's define all the variables like a variable. We declare all of them like a subject. And we add a and we have a body one. Body, we have a CTA, but then CTA link. Then we have a one subscription. And just keep it as a sub. We have all the variables. First, we just have to declare all the variables, whichever that I have. This is basically the variables we are creating for each and every fields that we have in the content extension. Subject line, the header, body, and then CTA button, CTA link, and then subscription button. It depends on your email such here. These fields will also change. And also these fields here in this content extension. Now let's declare the variable for each and every field separately. Subject line. It's very simple. Set the variable. Set the value for this variable equal to look function. We are going to use a look function. From where we have the content, from where I have to look up for content. It's from our data extension called content d_info. This is my data extension. I have to put it in a double quote comma for the subject line, which is the field that I have to look up for data. It's obviously this subject. I need to click the subject. That's a column that I have my subject line. I need to use this subject. And then what is the value that I need to compare between the content, the extension with this in the build extension. I need to compare between the content, the extension with this in the build extension. That is going to be your country field because we are doing the translation for country. That we have to keep it here and come up with this field from a center, build data extension. Here it's going to be a country. That's a content T extension. That's a center, build data extension field. Let me check what is the field that we have. This is a center, build data extension. And this is the field we are going to use it. We suppose if this is called, if you have a field in the center, build data extension called country code, something like that, it has to be that field here. With the center, build data extension field, we are comparing with the content, the extension. If two of this match, suppose if this is an extension, we are comparing with the content, the extension. We suppose if this is a subject line for India and this is also like India, then subject line for India will be assigned to this variable. Please let me know if it's something I have here in this lookup condition. Basically, we are looking up a content or subject line from this data extension. And the column that we would like to retrieve and store it in this variable is a column name called subject. Subject, subject. And then we are comparing which is the unique field we used in the center, built data extension and also content D extension. Country to country is what we have to keep it. For the values that we are bringing from our content D extension, we have to put it in a double quote. Well, the center build data extension. We don't need this double quote. Perfect, and let's copy this and put it first. Now we have to do the same step for all other fields as well. Now let's do it for pre-idle sendable. Detection simply can be referred directly, but exactly yes, it can be referred directly here. All now, based on whatever the field that we're trying to bring in, we have to we just use these fields. Now it has to be like, instead of a subject plan, it has to be a pre-item, and then this doesn't change. It will be as it is. And the next one is for body 1. Let's do it for body 1 and then the field also. We have it as a body 1. We can keep change the body 1 here. And now for body 2, same procedure. We have to find it follow. Same body to delete. The next one is a CTA button. CTA button. And the column we have is CTA button. And then we have a CTA link. Here we have a CTA link. And what is the column name? It's a CTA link again. Perfect. And then finally, we have this variable called unsub. And for this unsub, what is the field name? We have to consider for our data extension is unsub. We just have to be really careful with the fields that we pick up. For the variable name can be different and my field name in the content extension may be different. We have to be careful of the fields. I have a translation. I have a translation only dealing with subscription. We are done with the subscription. Let's save this. Now we need to. Sorry to interrupt, no problem. We are doing one by one. Is there any mechanism to bring the whole data extension? We can use the data extension, other data extension also. It can be multiple extension here. I can just change the data extension name here. And then I can map the fields accordingly. If I have to take data from multiple data extensions, like a content data extension, I just have to change this name here. Now we have declared the value for all the variables. Now we have to bring this content into an email template. We just have to print these variables now. First thing, how do we print it? We just have to. We have this function in IMScript to print the variables. Now percentage equal to value of this variable need to be printed here equal to percentage. This is how we print it. Let's do this printing for all the variables we have declared for. Here it has to be created. It has to be a pre-header. The next one, it has to be for body 1 and body 2. You just don't need this now. You just have to simply print it here. First thing, percentage equal to value of 41 equal to percentage. Here the same procedure, but here we have to just give the value. Here it has to be, instead of body 1, it has to be body 2. Simple. The format. This is a beaker. This is a smaller. We just have to align it properly. I just copy paste it as it is. And then now here it has to be CTA button. This how we have declared the variable for CTA button. We need to take it from here. That is also something we have to be very careful. Otherwise it doesn't work. This is a variable we have declared. Here is a variable. We have to take it from here. CTA button, we have to put the link. And if I scroll down, we also have a CTA link. Instead of a button, it has to be a CTA link. That's how we have also declared it's called CTA link. That's a variable name. Now the final one we have is unsub. Let's pick up the variable. This is a variable. And then we put this value for our unsubscription button. We need to put like a till here only. Rest of the CTA button is going to be same. The link will be same for all the unsubscription buttons. Percentage equal to value of insert equal to percentage. Now we have to get all the variables in the email. When I just do that, my email dump date will not have even a single translation. Everything is going to be on a content extension. Now let's save this and then let's do this preview. Must end up with an extension. Let me pick up the data extension. This is my data extension. Let's pick this. Pick up this for India. Just doing some errors. I call this and try again. Where variable is not valid because contains illegal kernel variable must begin with that rate of symbol. Or load back, we're going to call that variable name. I think I have done some mistake. This is to like pick up the variable. I didn't put the app symbol. That's reason. The good thing is that whenever we can add all the time scripts, it will give us warning here itself. Unless we fix it, we won't be able to do a preview properly. Now I can see this translation in. This is a customer on India. You can see the subject line in Tamil. I can also see the edit in Tamil. My body 1 content and my body 2 content. This is my CT button. This is my answer. This is my subscription button. Everything now translated in Tamil. I can change it to different countries and this is also from India. This is a France. It shows still in Tamil. It's because of the cache memory. But if I'm sending an email to the customer who does not have a content from a data extension, it will be a black. It will be an empty value. It shows the Tamil here just because it's a cache memory. Usually it will be a black. I can see the pre-edit. I can see the email that will go to a customer if I don't have a content. This is for Germany. Now I can see some content here for German language. Like also in subject line pre-header. And then here we have body 1, body 2, CT button. And then we have an answer subscription. This is how we do the translation in the email template. All. Now we have this content and data extension. Whenever we are coming up with more countries, we can just keep on importing the content for all the countries separately. Or if I have any other data extension, I can. There is also something like a possible. All we just have to do is like change the name of the data extension here. And then we'll be able to bring the data from that other data extension. It is very much possible because we will never be able to keep all the content in one data extension. This is an example that we've got. Sometimes I may have this value. This value, purchase value, I may have it like a separate information every customer, like in some data extension. In that case, I will have to bring that value. We already know like how we can bring that value, just like using a lookup condition. In case if I have to bring that value from a separate data extension, I can say I have to declare one more variable like underscore at the rate of purchase value. And then here we just have to declare that at the rate of purchase value. Then look up from the data extension that we're trying to bring. We can look up the value for this purchase value for each and every customer. Simple. And then same thing. If I will have to bring the data from a different extension, all we just have to make sure is that we mention the data extension here. We don't need this to come up. And this is how we bring up the content. This is how we do the campaign. Like most of the organization, 95% like more than that. This is how the translations are handled. There's no organization which will create an email multiple times for all the countries separately, and then they will do it. There's no complete asset. This is how we do it, and then most of the organization does the translation. Any questions here before we proceed further? I think pretty much far. Now it looks a very difficult process because we have done this translation. I mean, if you have a tool which is like a smart linking, something like that tool, if an organization has bought it, then it's simple and straightforward. We just upload only English translation. That will do the translation for all the countries automatically. And my previous organization, we did not have any tool like this. It all always used to be like a manual. We said, let's do this. Let's send the English translation to a content developer. Content developer will create the content for all the countries separately. They might use some tool to do that, and then they will give me a CSV file. I just have to import it. I usually do any translation, but some organization will give you training for you to do a translation, and then you can fetch that form up any of those tools that we have. Perfect. Thank you. Bye. And finally, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.